So those of you listening, how many of you have pets? Now, those of you that have pets, how many of you need to find somebody to take care of them when you go away? Or even take them for a walk, even if you're home. Let's say you're going back to work. Yeah, everything's starting to lift up, so hopefully people are going to be going back into the office. You need somebody to walk your pets. Well, on this episode of Harford County Living with Rich Bennett, let's just say I am going to be talking to a young lady that likes to do things like that just for the sits and wiggles. Stay tuned. Now, before we get started, I want to talk to you about a special group of people. I've had them on the show before. Angela, Heather, and Kate. They are the backbone to the Harford County Chamber of Commerce. And the reason I want to talk to you about them is because I think if you're a business owner, if you work at a business or even a nonprofit, it just makes sense to join. Why? Well, deciding to join the Harford County Chamber of Commerce, it's a choice that will positively impact the future of your business. They are ranked as one of the top 5 largest chambers in the greater Baltimore area. The benefits you get with it? Oh boy. Dedicated legislative voice to support growth of our local business community. Unparalleled networking and signature events, even during COVID. Weekly business newsletter and a quarterly educational seminars. Inexpensive marketing opportunities. Cost-saving programs. Exclusive member pricing. Access to chamber committees and member discounts. There's just so many reasons and benefits, and meeting the great people that are already members. I'm telling you, it is worth it. It's a win-win if you join. Go to harfordchamber.org. Again, that's harfordchamber.org. And check out the website, and you'll see, if you look at everything, you'll see why it's important to join. And see, look at the member list of all the great members on there. Also, take a listen to the podcast, The Harford Business Beat. Again, go to harfordchamber.org.
Welcome to Harford County Living with Rich Bennett, coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union studios. Each week, you'll hear interesting interviews, commentary, discussions, storytelling, and more. Here's your host, Marine Corps veteran, professional DJ, entrepreneur, podcaster, and my father, Rich Bennett.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Harford County Living with Rich Bennett. Today I have a very young lady on with me who, first of all, her tagline has got to be one of the best taglines I have ever seen for a business. You know, was it just in it for the sits and wiggles? I had to be careful what I said there. And when I saw that, I was, of course, first thing I did was laugh. But I have the pleasure of talking to Nicole Wilson, who is the owner of Your Pet Au Pair, based out of Bel Air, right?
Yes.
Okay, so based out of Bel Air here in Harford County, who is also a sponsor of Harford County Living. But she, before I actually get into what she does, I want to say congratulations, because you were nominated as the best dog walker in Harford County and second best in Maryland?
No, it was a top 10 list for Maryland dog walkers.
Yeah, but you're at number 2 for Maryland, right?
I think it was number 10, but I was the only one listed for Harford County.
Oh, I'm going to blow you away here now, because guess what?
What?
I'm looking at the list. You're number 2.
Holy wow.
Yeah. Find the best dog walkers in Maryland. I'm scrolling down. Number 1 is out of Silver Spring. Number 2, Your Pet Au Pair, Bel Air, Maryland.
Woohoo.
See, oh, good. I'm glad I broke the news to you on that one.
No problem.
And you're the only, out of the top 10, you're the only one in Harford County.
Yes.
So is that, well, no, because I'm seeing all kinds of dog walking ones here throughout Maryland, but not Harford County.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get into this? Because you haven't started it that long ago, right?
Do you mean how to get on the list, or
No, I'm sorry. No, congratulations on all this, but how did you decide to start your pet au pair?
Well, I had quit my job, and I've been doing sales for about 8.5 years, and my daughter came to live with me full time instead of joint. And so I quit the job because I was traveling a lot. And I kind of joined the gig economy to figure out what I was going to do in the meantime. So I was shopping with Shipt and Instacart. I was walking dogs with Wagon Rover. I was delivering food with DoorDash. I was doing a lot of things.
Wow.
The thing that I really loved was working with the animals. And so I was formulating a plan of how to, do it on my own without the apps, and trying to figure out if it was definitely something I wanted to do long term before committing to it. And I figured if I could make it through the worst part of the winter, I knew I'd be okay. And so I got to like January, and I was like, I like it. I'm going to keep it. So,
and this January will be what? 2 years?
Yes.
2 years. Okay. Wow. That's that's pretty amazing. I know sales is hard, but in a way you're still doing sales, but you're doing something different that you love doing.
Yes.
So, all right. So explain to everybody what your pet au pair actually does.
Well, we're a dog walking company, like first and foremost. And then we also offer pet sitting for when people go on vacation. And traditional pet sitting is in the client's home, where we do drop-in visits multiple times a day to feed the dogs, cats, let them out. And but I also offer boarding for one family at a time at my house. And I do overnights in the clients' homes as well.
Did you ever think it would take off like this?
No.
I bet you're happy that it did, though, right?
Definitely. I never pictured myself as an employer.
Right.
So it was never like in the thought process at all when I started that I would end up hiring people. It just be me. And it just grew so fast that it was either I scale back and learn how to say no, which I'm not great at, or I grow and I hire. So
how many people you actually have working with you now?
Well, right now I have 2 women that work with me middays, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And then I have a couple people that can help me out with pet sitting when it gets a little busy. But we had that issue in July and August when people were allowed to go, to the beach and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's a lot slower. But before, the pandemic hit, I had 5 people out
really
during middays and 4 backup people for when it got too busy. So
now, are you looking to expand throughout the county, or?
I'm not sure. It was easy in the beginning to set a parameter of where I would go within about 15 to 17 minutes of my house. I think it'd be a little difficult to go too much further, because it would have to be me doing the visits until there was more in those areas, which would be a lot of like dead time traveling back and forth. So doubtful, but I can't completely rule it out.
Well, let's hope when COVID finally goes away that you can and expand on it. So get those 5 from was it 5 to 2 employees up to 10 employees.
One day.
Oh, you'll be there. I think you will. So when you take these dogs walking, how many dogs at a time do you walk?
Well, it's for one family at a time.
Okay.
So we have a couple of families that have. I have one that has 4 dogs. I have one that now has 6 dogs. They started off with 4, but those are like yard let outs. We yard together. Currently, I have one lady that has 3 dogs that we walk at the same time, but they're smaller dogs. They're really easy to handle.
Okay.
And I just announced, actually this morning, that I was going to start offering buddy walks for people who have like, a neighbor that their dogs are friends with, so they could go on together. And it's a way for the people to save a few dollars.
Yeah.
Your dogs to also have a little bit of social time with a dog that they're friendly with.
You know what? That's actually a great idea, because a lot of people don't realize that dogs and cats, I mean, all animals can go through stress too.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't see another dog, especially their buddy, it's hard on them.
Yeah.
That's actually a great idea. You scared me for a minute, because when you say you walk 6 at one time, I'm thinking,
No.
oh my God, if these are Burmese mountain dogs and you're trying to walk them all as small as you are, those things would have to drag you around.
No, and they have people who walk, pack walks. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I really don't. Like, they have to be like the most well-behaved dogs on earth, because even just 2, it's a constant like windmill action with your arms, trying to keep them from getting tangled.
I don't see how people can do that. Now, one of the things I noticed on your website, for those of you listening, go to Belair Au Pair, AUPAIR.com, right?
Yes.
And Belair is BELAIR for those of you that live out of the state or in another country. And I never heard of this for animals. You're CPR certified?
Yes.
For dogs?
Yes.
Well, I guess pets.
Yes.
How does explain that to me? Because I guess you don't do it CPR on an animal like you do a human, correct?
No.
It's
a little different, and depending on the size and weight of the dogs, the way you do it is different.
Right.
So I haven't had to do it yet, and I'm actually
hopefully you never do.
I hope not.
Yeah.
But I do have to sign up to recertify, because it's every 2 years you need to.
Okay.
So I have to recertify for that. But I was hoping, and it's not going to happen because of the land of COVID, but I was hoping to find an in-person, class. So I'll recertify online, and then once this is all done, I'll go and try to find an online, in-person class.
Now, once you become certified, are you able to teach that as well?
I think there's a course that Pro Pet Hero offers to teach you to be an instructor.
That could be a good service that you provide.
It could. I'm not really a teacher. I'm not great at explaining things to people.
Oh, you may be surprised at times. You said you couldn't do this, and look at the, so far you're fine. You're a natural.
Uh-huh.
You are. God. Come on, Nicole, give me credit here. Jeez. But all right, so not just CPR, but also first aid.
Yes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are, I guess when you tell prospects, because they're not customers yet, does that put them at ease?
I mean, I hope so.
Yeah.
It was something that was never in question to me when I first wanted to start doing this, that this is something I should know how to do. Because God forbid something happens, I want to be prepared for it and know how to treat things.
Right.
And it's mostly in, stabilizing the animals or whatever until you can get them to the vet. But, being able to do that, I mean, that makes me feel better. I would hope it would make the clients feel better too.
Yeah. I know I would definitely feel better. Yeah. Because, I mean, you think about it, especially people that have older dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And dogs get health conditions.
Yes.
Just as well. And I keep saying dogs because, as you can tell, I'm a dog person. But you also do cats, right? Yeah. Any other animals?
So far, we've had fish and birds and a couple bearded dragons.
Oh, wow.
A snake.
Oh, yes. Sweet. What kind?
I have no idea. I'm not a snake person.
Oh, I am.
Oh, the best one, I had alpacas.
Get out of here.
Yeah, there was a guy in Churchville. He had 4 alpacas. It was fantastic.
I just had Pam Person. I don't know if you know her or not,
Uh-uh.
who has an alpaca farm.
That's amazing.
And she was talking. I learned a lot about alpacas I didn't know anything about.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say I know a whole lot about them, but I've been a little obsessed with them for a few years where I was just like, and this guy approached me and I'm like, yup, I'm all about it, doing it.
So I take it you went there to watch them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I've seen people have these things. I mean, alpacas in their homes and everything.
Oh, wow.
Well, keep in mind, they're not as big as a llama.
No.
Thank God. Although they do spit still.
Yeah.
Now, what about any like pygmy goats or anything like that?
I had a client who had a dog, and in her backyard, she had a pen with 3 goats and a pig.
Oh.
But I don't know who was taking care of them because it wasn't me.
Okay.
So I was basically there to care for the dog, but we always went over and said hi to the goats and the pig, and I gave him a little carrot. Had to because they're adorable.
I've been looking at that. Right now, I don't have any pets, and my wife's not a dog person, and we've been talking about getting a pet. 3 different ones we've been talking about, either a pet fox, which I would love, but I don't think you can here in Maryland.
I don't know.
Or a pet skunk. And I do know there's a place up in Pennsylvania that sells the pet skunks.
They're cute.
Oh, God, I love them. And the other one that I really, really, really want, but I keep getting shot down on this, is an English bulldog. That's my favorite dog.
I love all the smush faces.
Yes.
All those folds and wrinkles. I love it.
Oh, I mean, they're great. No, yeah, it's the Marine Corps mascot, so I have to have one.
Right.
You know. Now, another thing, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that offer to walk dogs and everything, but you are bonded and insured, correct?
Yes.
Explain to everybody how important that is.
Well, it's pretty much what separates a professional from your neighbor down the street who will come in and walk your dog or watch your cat while you're on vacation, because things happen, even to professionals, things happen. I haven't had to use my insurance yet, and hopefully I never have to, but anything can happen. You can be walking a dog and the dog slips its harness and runs across the street, gets hit by a car.
Eesh.
That's awful, but at least you're going to be devastated because your pet's hurt, but my insurance would cover the vet bills and everything. So, and that can run up tens of thousands of dollars easy.
Yeah.
So it covers that. It would also cover, suppose I didn't fully close the door. Like I twisted the lock, but I didn't fully close it. And there was a windstorm and the door blew open, and next thing you know, there's a torrential downpour and your hardwoods come up and everything else. Like my insurance would cover things for your home too, if it was my negligence that caused it.
Well, that's good too.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. See, and a lot of people don't think about that stuff.
Yeah.
And now the other thing is too, and you're certified pet sitter?
Yeah, it's a program through Pet Sitters International, which is basically a group for education for the pet sitters. And the certification process is a 125 question knowledge-based exam. So you can't really study for it. It's just something you have to know. And so I did that. I want to say it was about a year ago. I went ahead and studied for it. Most people don't know what it means, and they're like, oh, well, whatever. But it made me feel better to take it and realize that I had more knowledge than I even thought.
Right.
So it was interesting. It had to be proctored, because it's online. So it had to be proctored, and somebody had to be watching to make sure I wasn't looking up answers and its times and all that other stuff.
But I think if you explain it to people, then they would understand, because I mean, it's like anything. A lot of people, think that, I don't know, it's certain types of businesses, you have to tell the people what makes you stand out and why it's better. It's well, you know that from being in sales,
Right.
yeah, before. And a lot of times people don't think about it until it's too late. You know, how many guys you see it with people that'll get a deck put on their house or a roof by somebody that's not bonded and insured,
Right.
but they used to work for another company, so they're a pro. They know what they're doing. Well, guess what? Something happens. You can't hold them liable.
Right.
So, you're in trouble there. So now, so what areas do you actually cover besides Bel Air?
Most of Abingdon and Forest Hill, and a little part of Falston and Churchill, and a tiny little sliver in Joppa that's like off Old Joppa to Whitaker Mill.
Is Pebbles trying to get into something?
She found a water bottle somewhere.
God. For those of you listening, Pebbles is a dog that Nicole is watching right now.
Yeah.
And what kind of dog is she?
She's a rescue, but just by looking at her, I'd say she has some husky and maybe some German Shepherd in her.
Right.
And I think maybe some border collie, because she likes to
nice.
nip at our dog when she's getting out of line, but nip at her paws and legs and stuff.
Right. Now, what kind of dog do you have?
She's a hound mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I want a dog. I do. God, it's been 13 years, I think, since the last time I had my last dog, which was a Chinese Shar-Pei. And oh God, I love that dog.
Another wrinkly faced dog.
Yes, look like Alf. They do. I mean, that thing was, and the scary thing is when I first got her, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I also at the time had something that you love, a pet snake. And she kept wanting to get to the snake kept wanting to get to her. So finally I had to get rid of the snake. So. Actually, you said you did watch a snake before. You remember what kind it was? Probably a python.
I really have no idea. It was kind of yellowish.
That's a python. Yeah, ball python.
But it was, I didn't have to do it. I was there for cats.
Right.
So it wasn't like I had to do a whole lot. I had to open up the aquarium and refill its water thing once. And then I would always look in to see if I could see it breathe and move just to make sure it was alive.
You didn't have to feed it?
No, they were only gone for 6 days and they had fed it before they left. But I actually have 2 women that work with me that know a lot about reptiles. So, if it was something more involved, I could call upon them to take care of snakes or do more than feed a bearded dragon some crickets and give it some water.
That's what bearded dragons eat, is crickets?
The one that we watched a few months ago, it ate crickets.
Interesting. See, I thought they would eat rodents or something, like snakes do.
Well,
I guess when they get bigger.
Big, I guess. But it's, we had one guy who had it was a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember what kind. It was a different kind of chameleon. And I had to go there 3 times a day. And it had grub worms, I think, that it ate. And cockroaches. Yeah. So that was gross. And it had to be misted. That's why I had to go 3 times a day. It had to be misted with a water bottle. Yeah, it was.
That's kind of, well, yeah, I guess. Because they come from, the rainforest or whatever. So I guess they need that for their skin.
I knew more about them, but I don't.
Yeah, I never had anything like that. I mean, the weirdest things I ever had besides my snake was a tarantula.
Oh my.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind them because they're big. You can see them coming.
Right.
Little spiders? No. Anything smaller than a tarantula? I'm gone. I'm out of here. Yes, I will scream like a little baby and run. Not a shot. Snakes. Yeah. In my neighborhood, people know if they see a snake, call me. I'll come and get it. But I've all as kids, always had them. And birds. Always, well, haven't had any of them for a long time. Matter of fact, you're going to love this story, talking about CPR and everything. So I used to have a pet, it was cockatiel. And I had a black lab at the time, and the lab somehow or another got the bird. It was, no, I'm sorry. No, I came home and the bird was laying in the bottom of the cage, or my mother came home. Bird was laying in the bottom of the cage. So she takes the bird out. The bird's not breathing or anything. I come home and here's my mother. She's crying. She's giving mouth to beak resuscitation to the bird.
Right.
I'd never seen that before. I don't know if my mother knew what she was doing. I don't think she did, because years previous, you remember at Easter time, people would get the chicks.
Right.
So my sister had a little yellow chick. And at the time we had a black lab. That black lab got a hold of the yellow chick and was carrying it around in her mouth like a puppy. So my mother got the chick out of the dog's mouth. The thing was soaking wet. So what does my mother do to try to dry it off? Puts it in the oven.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Not at 400 or anything like that. At lowest temperature, I guess you could, but still, I'm like, my mother loved animals, to say the least. And I mean, if she was driving down the road and a squirrel ran in front of her and she hit it, she'd be all upset.
Me too.
Yeah, she'd be crying. It's like, well, Mom, it's not your fault. But, actually, do you get anything like that? Like squirrels or anything to watch?
No, I haven't had anything like that. I had a lady with a bunny rabbit. It's about the closest to a squirrel I've come.
Was it one of them giant ones?
No, but I wish. Those things are so cool.
Yeah, I've seen some big ones. I mean, where you have to put them on a leash.
Yeah, it's amazing. It was only a few years ago that I'd ever heard of them. And it was actually my ex-boyfriend who told me about a friend of his who had one.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, yeah, they opened the door and there's this bunny about the size of a dog. And I'm like, you're lying.
Oh, yeah.
I had to look it up and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh, some of these things get so big. I'll never where we normally record, there's a pond. And I was always told there was a beaver there. I finally saw the thing. And I looked over, I could see it on the shore. At first I didn't know it was the beaver, but I looked over on the shore and I saw what I thought was a black lab, because that's how big it was. And then I saw the flat tail. I've seen beavers before, but I've never seen a beaver that big. That thing, I don't know who was feeding it. But that thing was huge. It was out of this world. So when you take these dogs walking, is it just around the neighborhood? Do you take them, or do you ever take them to any dog parks?
Well, I don't really take them to the dog park. I do have one lady who has 2 dogs in an apartment complex that has a dog park.
Mm-hmm.
And she likes them to go in there, but only if there are no other dogs in there.
Okay.
And then they can play with each other and, they have room to romp where,
right.
in the apartment they don't. So she does request that. I have another dog that we pick up in Forest Hill and we drive it to the Mom and Pa trail and we walk it on the trail because she doesn't live in a neighborhood. So,
okay.
So that's something we do as well. Most of them are just, around the neighborhood or,
right.
Like the people that have multiple dogs and just tell us to let them out in the yard so they can do their business.
Well, one of the things that I want to do when whenever we get back to the new normal, I guess, the Lions Club, we want to do the pet festival again.
Yes.
And I want you to be a judge for the events. But what we are also talking about doing, and we were going to do it this year or this past year, is a 2.5K. So the people can bring their pets and either walk or run it. Yeah, something different. It gets the people exercise. It gets the dogs exercise, but it gets the people exercise as well. And that's one of the things we're going to be doing. And we had a lot of great ideas for this one that we had to cancel, but definitely, especially with your love for pets, love to have you as a judge.
Love to.
I know Christy Breslin said she wants to do it again. I think she got upset that we had to cancel, and some others. But it's, and then you're going to have 20 people working for you, and you're going to cover all of Harford County,
all of it,
possibly even into Baltimore and Cecil County.
Oh, there
Who knows? So Nicole, you got anything to add?
I can't think of anything.
Pebbles, you have anything to add?
She's napping now.
Oh God. Look at that. I bored the dog. The dog fell asleep on me. Jeez. Tell everybody again the website and how they can get in touch with you.
The website is belaireaupair.com. And most people reach me by email, which is nicole@belaireaupair.com. Or I get a lot of texts from people, and that number is 410-989-1533. And phone calls are fine, just that I get a lot of robocalls. Spam. It's awful. So I do ask people if they're going to call me to maybe text me first, because I won't pick up a lot of times if I don't know the number.
I'm the same way. I don't blame you. People be like, well, I called you. Well, why didn't you leave a message?
Nobody leaves messages anymore.
No, they don't. And I don't understand that. If you call, if I don't answer, number one, it's because it doesn't show up as you.
Right.
Leave a message. You know, what's so hard about leaving a message? I can understand if you're young like my daughter and everything. Well, number one, they don't know how to dial the phone, I think. Yeah, I never heard of, I gotta get a phone, but what's the pixel on the camera? Well, I thought you wanted a phone. Well, yeah, but it's got to have a good camera. I don't get it. So, oh well. Nicole, thank you so much, and can't wait to talk to you again. Can't wait till all this is over so we can get back to doing the pet festival again. I miss it.
Forward to it. I miss beer.
So am I. I'm really looking forward to it. It's just, it stinks. It really stinks because I even going through the parks now, when I walk down here to the park, I don't see as many people walking their dogs anymore. And it's sad. And not only that, even like my sister, because she's got one of those, I'm going to forget the name of it. The little things that look like a collie.
A Shetland sheepdog?
Yes, that's it. And I always call the dog whack job. I'm serious. I think the dog's on caffeine all the time. Since COVID started, I haven't been able to see the dog, and I really miss that. My one niece lives on a farm, and the neighbors have an English bulldog I haven't been able to see.
Oh, no.
Like, man. Now, granted, my neighbor out front, I can see his dog all the time. I have to tell you this. This dog is a trip. I don't even know I think it's just a mutt, but it was rescued, and it's that beautiful brindle color.
Right.
So he lives across the street from me. He lets the dog out. The dog runs down to the edge of the yard and just keeps looking over at my house, and he'll bark until I come out.
Oh.
So I always have to go out there and pet the dog, of course. And then my next door neighbors has a little one that looks like a little red fox. It's a mixture between a Chihuahua and Pomeranian.
A Pomchi, yes.
And, beautiful dog. And I have to laugh because they just had a deck put on. So the dog used to come to the fence and I would give the dog treats. Well, now the dog doesn't know how to come off the deck to walk around to the fence, come get the treats. I'm trying to toss these little things to it, and it's looking all around. Where's it? It's like, okay, come on, Angus. You're going to wear me out. But Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to thank Nicole again for coming on to the podcast. And if you need any type of services, if you're in the Harford County area, of course, go ahead and give her a call, 410-989-1533. You can email her at nicole@belaireaupair.com, or just go to the website, belaireaupair.com. That's BELAIRAUPAIR.com. PAIR.com. And of course, I'll have the link to the website in the show notes. So again, that's BelAirAllPair.com. Few things that I would like to remind you all about. Number one, please leave a review of the podcast. All you have to do is go to lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. Again, that's lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. And while you're at it, if you can, please buy me a coffee. That's right, buy me a coffee. Well, you're not really buying me a coffee. You're making a donation so I can keep this podcast going. Yeah, it's because of you and my sponsors that I'm allowed. Well, I'm not allowed. I'm able to keep this podcast going. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot more that you can even imagine. So just go to buymeacoffee.com/Harco Living. Again, that's buymeacoffee.com/Harco Living. And it's that time again. That's right. I am giving away a $25 gift card to Route 24 Ale House. The winner's going to be chosen on Wednesday, March 17th, my father's favorite holiday, St. Patrick's Day. And all you have to do is leave a review of the podcast. And you know where to go to do that. lovethepodcast.com/Harco Living. So leave a review. I'm going to pick one person at random. That person will get a $25 gift card to Route 24 Ale House, where you can go and enjoy a kickin' bourbon burger, which is out of this world. Wings have to be the best wings around, and all types of different beer on tap. So again, just leave a review, and good luck. March 17th, we're going to have the winner.